Fallout 4, the time before mods, before DLC, when everything was built with hard work, trickery, and jamming stuff together. Guys, come down memory lane with me today and let's check out some of my old and favorite settlements from before mods. What's up guys, Darkdally here, and today I want to take a little tour through some of the pre-DLC and pre-mods content back in the good old days. I just happened to remember some of the stuff that I used to do back then, and you guys never saw it because I didn't even have a YouTube channel yet. This character right here I haven't even been on in over a year. In fact, as soon as I logged on this character, I'm not running any mods and I turned them all off. Of course, mods are not around then, but as soon as I logged on this character, it started giving me all the DLC updates, you know, Vault Tech calling, Automatron, and I was like, oh wow, I haven't been on this character in over a year. Wasteland Workshop wasn't even a thing. Nothing was out. And I want to go through some of the settlements, 3 to be particular, that you guys, one of them you've seen, the other 2 you have not. Just some cool stuff. Just remember in the old days when everything had to be built out of plywood, planks, and sheet metal. Now this right here is a settlement I have on a character which I've never even logged on as long as I've had this channel, like I said. And I built this at Starlight Drive-In. You guys know I love to build there. Most of my settlements seems like they're built here, or Spectacle Island or something. Let's go up here and get a view of it from the hill. It's a walled-in settlement. It's kind of like an Old West-style settlement, and I'll show you that I did at Starlight. And it's completely walled in. This is before, boy, I didn't even know about rug glitching. I didn't know about, I don't think I knew how to do wires through walls at the time. And you can see here, I couldn't line up the walls right because I didn't know how to rug glitch them. I'm not sure rug glitching was a thing back then. And so where I snapped walls together. And I thought at the time this settlement was just the shit. I just thought this was the best, coolest place because it's so well defended. And this really, it really makes me reminisce. You know, it really harkens me back to the old days of Fallout. Everything was so simple back then, and everything was so much fun. And now everything still is, just in different ways. So yeah, here's how I did the walls around here, and this was a pretty tedious job. I think I may have, I'm not sure. I don't think there was a rug glitch, or I don't think I knew about it if there was, because if I did, I would have done this a little better. Now I still to this day, junk settlements are my favorite, and boy, this was the day of junk settlements, was it not? Because that's all that we had to build with. There was no concrete. It was just plywood and sheet metal. Let's go in here and have a look at this settlement. Now, I did the same things I usually do at Starlight, which is have the entrance here. And I usually build up fairly closer to this building. I know a lot of people like to build back against the screen. I tend to like to build here. And I've had a few settlements where I did use this as the entryway. I just think it makes a nice entryway. I farmed my crops right here, which is, you know, really about the only place you could here before there was the ability to place, you know, the little garden plots. This is like the one patch of dirt, so I made my little farm here and have it all fenced in. Now, I like this entryway. It's really cool. I mean, this is just classic Fallout, you know? It really is. Let's take a look through here. Now, I kind of did this like, I pictured in my head like an old west town, you know, where all the store fronts are lined up along the street. And I kind of wanted to have that aesthetic here. And, you know, even before I started doing my channel, I really, even though this wasn't going to be on camera or a video for anyone, I wanted it to have a nice, cool flow. So it just kind of, you come in and it just kind of flows around, and it is real tight. It's real tight around this building, and sure, it could be expanded more, but also keep in mind this is before mods, before I knew about any glitches or anything, and I had to work with Starlight Drive-In's building limit, which I'm probably right at. Yeah, I'm right at that build limit. I can maybe place 3 more things. I'm right at the limit, and that's why I had to place this so tight around here so I could get a wall around it. Now let's go ahead. Let's check out some of this stuff up here. So here's the area above the entryway. Now Starlight, one reason I like building here, besides the fact it's big, flat, and open, it's got great views all around it. A lot of shit happens here. I get attacked here so much. When I had this settlement, I remember every time I travel here, it seemed like there was a death claw coming in because there's a spawn point for mobs right over there. There's probably some automatrons over there right now because mobs spawn there, and it's, I swear, super mutant raiding parties are pretty common, death claws, things like that. That's why all the defense. And now I've done a lot of videos on cool, complex, and advanced defense. Well, this is kind of where a lot of that started right here. Notice most of my defense is pointing in, and the whole point was that there's a couple guns pointing out, but once they get in, it's like a kill box thing. There's nowhere for them to go, and that was kind of the idea behind this. So this is the top of the wall, the entry thing, which is, you know, the awning that sticks out from Red Rocket. I wonder if there's anything in here. I seriously have not been on this character or through here. Notice the skeleton is still here because in the old days there was no mods and I couldn't scrap the skeletons. Oh, I remember those days of those skeletons rattling around in your foundations every time you built a Starlight because they kept moving around and they get stuck in buildings and make that god-awful racket and there was nothing you could do about it. Same thing with these little pillory things here or whatever they're called. Before you could scrap those, they'd get knocked over, end up rolling all around your settlement. The good old days. So here's the main building. I just kind of built around it because there was no mods, no place anywhere, no way to place anything in it. I had to build around it the best I could. And I like the look. You know, it's fun to visit these settlements and see this stuff that we had to build back in the old days. Let's check out the storefronts. Now, some of these is housing. This is a little place for beds for the settlers. Now, here's a cool little building. Get the little general store here. Scavenging station. Let's see what's in this building. Looks like I built some stuff here. Oh, man. Seeing this stuff, it really makes me want to build again. Of course, I am building. But I mean, it's the whole nostalgia thing, you know? This is a cool little building. Didn't do a lot of decorating, but then decorating was a little more difficult back then. I'm sure there was a rug glitch. I just didn't know how to do it. So let's check out. Now here I have a little bar or patio area. I was quite fond of this. I thought this was just really, really cool. And it is really, really cool at night. You probably saw it in the intro sequence. I breezed through here at the camera in the rain. This place looks really cool at night, the way it's lit up. And I believe this switch here turns all the lights in the settlement on and off. Now, I don't do this anymore for several reasons, but yeah, that turns all the lights in the settlement off. Nowadays, I'm usually running too many wires for that to really be an option. That's kind of cool. My first electrical system, guys. My first electrical system. So basic now, but yet it was so overwhelming at the time. And then over here we have, this is like the main crash house, if I recall, mattresses and the like. Alright, let's go check out one of the other settlements. I actually wasn't going to come here. I was going to switch to another character, but as long as I was on this character, I was like, you know what? I don't even remember what I had at Sanctuary. This was my first character, right here. And even though this was long before I made the YouTube channel, this character was named Darkdally. Well, it's a name I've used on and off throughout the years. So this character, Darkdally, never actually made it on the channel Darkdally. I stopped playing him before, you know, long before. This is the first sanctuary I ever built. And this here is the first building I ever built in the game. That's why I decided to come here. Oh, look, we're getting attacked by something. Yep, this is first building I ever built. And I did the first thing. I did the same thing that probably a lot of people do. I built a really huge building that was like 5 stories and maxed out my capacity, and then I ended up with some weird thing where I couldn't place anything in there. My size meter is not up that far, but I was having trouble placing stuff here, and I think it's because I just had so much built in one place. Of course, now I've gone way beyond that, but again, we're talking about a long time ago. So let's take a tour through. This is my first building I ever built. Of course, I wanted to build some huge building, but then they're just hard to navigate. One day, you know. Sanctuary will be a vibrant community. I didn't play this character terribly long. He's got, if I recall when I loaded the save, he's got about 3 days worth of play time on him. Now, that's not much considering I got characters with like 10 days or... No, wait. I got characters with over 2 weeks. I got characters with over 400 hours on them. So this guy, I really didn't get played much before I ditched him. Oh, let's go back. Let's go up here. Some more settlements I want to check out. I forgot about this place until I just fast traveled here and saw it. And remember, this is the first building I ever built in the game. So some of my viewers who have watched me build over the last year Thought you guys might want to see this. First building Darkdally ever built. And it's pretty basic stuff. Nothing special. I think it's definitely architecturally a little creative. I like to try to be creative, and I think it is. And I designed it to flow as good as I could. I made it so that when you come in this door, there's stairs right here that will take you all the way to the top floor. Now, I think this actually did have another floor on top of it, and I did hit the build limit, and it was not allowing me to build anymore. I think I actually lowered it. There's some more structures here. Let's go see what they are, because I don't quite remember. So this would have been my first wiring job. Stellar. Stellar. Yeah, wires everywhere because I didn't know how to run them through walls yet. There's a metal building over here. This may have actually been the first building I built, but it doesn't count because it's a prefab. I just slapped down this prefab because I wanted to see how it worked, and did I ever do anything with it? I put a table in it, guys. I put a table. Yeah, this is where I learned how to build. Alright, so now let's go check out one of the other settlements. Okay, and here we are on my character, which this character was the first original character who I built on this channel. And in fact, here we are at a Starlight structure I did. I won't go through that, but right here, this was in one of my first videos. One of my very first videos was showing a little trick on how to stack floors on top of one another back when I was just inventing the trick. And I still have this structure here. I built this in the video, and I don't think this building was here in the background. I think the start of it was, but I don't think I ever really showed the structure when it was finished. That said, yeah, I saw this and I was like, oh man, I remember this from my, one of my very, very first videos. And it was truly one of my first videos on YouTube. I was naive enough that when it said, do you want to improve this video? I clicked there, and that's why that video was all shaky, because I had no idea what I was doing. And I was like, oh sure, YouTube, I will improve this ability of my video. Now this building was built, it looks pre-DLC because I don't see any concrete. And you guys know I'm a big lover of concrete. Notice, yeah, this is stacked wood foundations. So this was definitely pre-DLC right here. Although this character I did play, throughout the time the DLC was coming out. But this character did, get shelved before any mods started coming out for PS4. I had this cool idea where I wanted to use stairs for the wall of the building. I always want to have like cool workshops. Every workshop I have, I want to have some kind of cool little hook. That's what I want to say. And the hook here was that the workshop was protected by these stairs, which would work as like a window/wall, and you could work from safety in there. Of course, you could shoot right through it, but guys cannot come through it. And then this was a cool little building. It started off just testing some various things. Let's go out here real quick again. It started testing out where I was doing this. Oh, I'm sorry. This wasn't showing how to stack floors necessarily, although that's how this trick came about. This was showing how to make supports out of the staircases. And this is, I think this is the first place. No, it'd be the castle settlement on Spectacle Island was the first place I did it. This is where I tried to perfect it and get a little better at it back in the day. And so I wanted to have this big concrete foundation supporting like the whole backside of this like castle-like structure. And of course, all I had to build out of, was wood planks. Didn't use any metal here, it doesn't look like. And this building is confusing. I get lost in here. It's actually a poorly designed building because I got too creative, and I get lost trying to navigate it. I never actually used this as my workshop. I set it up with that intention, but then I think it was the way this building is so confusing. I'll try to show you what I mean. Here we are on the second floor. And it's really kind of confined because the way I had to snap these pieces, because of course everything is snapped, So from the second floor we can go up one of two ways. We can go up that way, or we can go up this way. This takes us up to the second floor. There's the stairs back down to the... Or are we on the third? See, I'm already lost. Okay, this is the second floor. Yeah, see, I'm already lost. This is the second floor. This takes us up to the third floor. Again, this is one of those big, huge buildings that you don't do anymore, and I think it's a bad idea in general. But it's very cool. I mean, this has potential. If it was all decorated up, and I had settlers here, and a whole settlement here, and if I made the flow a little better, and I believe my personal quarters, or at least what I intended, to be my personal quarters was up here. Well, pretty Spartan. Yeah, I didn't, well, I never officially moved in here. It didn't get really decorated, but really nice views all around. I thought it was a very defensible place. The whole idea behind this was, instead of a walled settlement, the idea was a settlement that's all contained in one building, you know, was the idea. And I figured, well, that'll be totally defensible, right? You know. Let's go ahead and let's check out the last place I want to see today, which is also on this. Guys will remember this place. Now, this was built right when Wasteland Workshop came out, and they introduced concrete. Of course, there were still no mods, nowhere in sight for PS4. They hadn't even done the thing yet where they delayed them for like 4 months. they weren't even on the horizon yet. And I wanted to experiment with concrete. Now, this is featured in some of my earlier videos. Some of my very first videos on the channel were here. Although most of you probably haven't seen it unless you've either been subscribed for a year or unless you went digging around through all my old videos. This was my first real, what I consider, you know, a masterpiece, my first marvel of architecture. This is where I invented the staircase supports to, you know, hold up this huge heavy structure. And this is all done without mods, no glitches of any kind. I think I used the wires through walls glitch here. I think I knew how to do that at this time. But there was certainly no other trickery here. This is all just lots of hard work and lots of stacked floors and time and frustration. So some of you certainly remember this. My castle at Spectacle Island. I wanted to come here at night. I like all the man, that lighting, that was tedious. Really cool. I don't really know what kind of style this would be. It's built out of concrete, but it's lit up like a freaking casino in Las Vegas, so who knows what kind of style I was going for here. This is my helipad. The little blinking lights that I made. I remember making those, and I figured that out. That was cool. That was, again, trickery, because those are neon lights, which I snapped and overlapped onto a post. That's right, and then I removed the post, and it left the lights sitting there. I figured out a lot of cool tricks designing this place. Let's go in here and check it out. I remember when I came up with this whole spiral staircase idea, and there's another better, bigger one further into the castle. So here's like the entryway. I paid a lot of attention to decorating and lighting here. So here is the entrance proper. Got all the power armor showcased up here. I really like this. This is my work area. Could have paid a little better attention. Oh no, there was a glitch with the lighting. There's a thing sometimes where separate circuits can get linked. That's one reason I don't put entire light systems on switches anymore, because they can get linked. And what happened was the lights in here got linked with these blinkies, and it was making these lights blink even though they were out of the radius. No matter what I did, they blinked with these. And well, here's where I had the power armor all lined up. I like the idea of having my workshop here and then having my power armor all lined up here, and this is where it was capped. Now, what is this? This is my power armor quick escape. I remember this. This was so that I could be in my workshop, I could slap on a suit of power armor, jump down here, and then be ready to go. And I built this little dock out here underneath the quick escape, so I could just jump down like a fireman's pole, you know, and get out here to the action. That was a really cool idea. That's something I'd like to revisit. Let's go back in here. There's so much to see in here, and I don't want this video to run too incredibly long. Let's see. Here's the entryway. I believe at one time I had a pool. I did. I had a pool table here. I turned this into a little library reading section. This is beautiful. I like this. This was all very tricky to place. This is actually two buildings placed at an odd angle to one another. Notice I'm covering it all up with rugs. No, there was no mods. There was no trickery or well, there was trickery, but there was no glitching of any kind. This was just mashing floors together in any way that it would allow me. And it creates a really cool thing, which I can show later. I like this little reading area. So here's the main workshop area. Ah, this staircase. What a marvel of engineering this was. Yup. No trickery, no mods involved. Just a lot of you have seen that video. It did get a lot of views. My video where I showed how to build a little staircase. It's just stacking floors and using the leniency of the snapping system to snap concrete walls around it, because concrete walls are not too picky about how they snap. They'll clip through a lot of stuff. So here's where I kept various armor and guns. This is my storeroom up here. Stored various stuff. Ah, here's all my armor storage. Again, there were no armor dummies at the time, of course, or anything like that. So all my armor is stored up here. I like this. I like this a lot. This was my favorite hideout I ever built. Here's my personal quarters. Little floor safe. Nice view. Ugh, except for that, that's god-awful ugly. This is one of my... Now, I think there is. We can go up to the roof. Little electrical room. And if I'm not mistaken... Oh, like, wait. I think there's... Oh, yep, there's a back door out of that. Oh, I had to put the Automaton workshop up here because it wouldn't go anywhere down there. It was too big, and of course I didn't know how to... I did not know that I just, you know, could have rug glitched it in. Here's the turrets on top, and I used those to conceal power pylons because I don't think I knew about wires through... Nope, no, I did. But I wanted to keep as many wires and conduits out of the building as I could. So I put these large power pylons up here, hid them inside these towers, so that I would have to use as few conduits in there as possible because these guys are, you know, putting out power at a little radius around them. So let's go down. I wanted to show the whole thing with this building being placed at the odd angles that it is that it creates a cool look. You see, this part of the building here is at one angle, and then the back part of the building is at another angle. And I like that. I had a little view spot over here where I would constantly, every time I'd build a little, then I'd come out here and view it, build a little, come out here and view it. I must have taken it down. I had a little view spot out here. Maybe it's just further down the beach. And I had a post set up, and that's where I viewed it from, as, you know, kind of like a surveyor. That's where I would view it from. And the changing angles of the building is cool because it kind of makes it look like it just kind of wraps around out of view. Oh, here it is. This is my view spot right here. And this is where I took all my screenshots from, and this is where I assessed the building as I went. And I wanted to make, the goal was to make it look, you know, like it should from there. But this is fun remembering all this stuff. Let's go check out the helipad. Now the helipad has the fast travel target on it, and that was meticulously placed so that the vertibird would land on it. So you can fly a vertibird here, and it will land you right on this helipad. There's my fast travel target right there. I found that placing it there, the reason being that the vertibird seems to kind of land its nose on the fast travel target, which can make it difficult because if you're coming from different directions, it might face different ways and you would need a huge helipad. This helipad's actually fairly small, but it works because Spectacle Island is down here in the corner of the map. So anytime you're traveling here, the vertibird's always coming this direction. That's why. And it lands here. It drops you off safely right here. My fun little suspension bridge thing I did with the conduits, I remember that. I think I might have made it even a video on that. Very cool. It looks really nice. It's too bad I couldn't find a better way to block this off. But again, long time ago. Alright guys, so this has all been really fun. It's, you know, I appreciate you guys coming down memory lane with me and checking all this stuff out. Wasn't the game fun, you know, before mods? Tell me what you think, and tell me what, if sometimes maybe you guys visit your old places before all this was available, and sometimes I like to reminisce and think about this, and I think other people do too. And I think that's why you occasionally see builders like one of my favorite Fallout 4 builders, Phoenix. You often see her building without mods, and I don't, you know, personally, I think it's because it's kind of fun to remember the old days and the challenges we had back then. It was all really good stuff. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more stuff like this or want to see me do some unmodded builds, tell me what you think in the comments below. Guys, it's been a real pleasure. My name is Darkdally, and I will catch you all next time.